Hey, this is for Backwoods. Al Gore. Man, Big Tobacco. That's right. He was Big Tobacco, and what's his name? Shall not be infringe's buddy who has the boat up in Maine. He was Ketchup, right? Man, these dudes are like old money. I don't know. I want to say real quick. W had access to all those guys that you mentioned. If you go and if you catch all of my podcasts, my guest talks about the briefings that all the presidents get. So believe it or not, his dad was part of everything with the war on terror. I don't know why they chose the path that they chose, or why they took a very certain approach. It'd be interesting to see what Schwarzkopf's thoughts were. I do know, if you watch 12 Strong, some of our initial tactics were perfect, in my humble opinion. If you want the opinion of an office manager of a small auto shop, to send in an ODA team to fortify an already existing tribe that opposes the I want to say, so there were two enemy forces in Afghanistan. You had the Taliban and you had Al Qaeda. Both those people had different approaches, different goals. They aren't the same. It's a complicated thing, and it's probably kind of boring, the differences between the two, honestly. But that's what those guys were for, and that makes me think that somebody like Schwarzkopf really had a hand in the initial stuff. Now, when it expanded to a invasion of Iraq, to me that seems like a Dick Cheney industrial war complex kind of thing, and frankly, this can't be understated. Some of the shit that W said ripped my guts out, okay? Some of the decisions that his administration did cost the lives of people that are very dear to me. I mean, we all die, but, you know, did Dennis really need to die in a on-fire Humvee that was flipped over? That's not the death I would have picked for him. So, man, that sucked the wind out of me. Give me a second here. I mean, how do you fight the war on terror? I think, by and large, with the exception of that invasion, they did a pretty decent job. The evolution of the Navy SEALs and Special Forces and the way that those guys conducted warfare is pretty impressive. It looks like a farce in a way, but there was a lot of work that was done, and you can believe it if you want. I don't mean you, Backwoods, but everybody else listening, you can believe it, or if not. But some of the other tactics, again, I'm going to go back to the invasion of Iraq, the wholesale invasion of Iraq, which we're directly dealing with the blowback of that right now. Blowback being unintended consequences, or maybe intended consequences. You talk about the Ukraine stuff being the result of Obama. I say no. The Ukraine stuff is the result of W going into Iraq. Sned shared a link with a subject matter expert on the Russia thing, and I I'm in agreement with some of her assessments. Historically, we as a nation don't understand our enemy like we didn't understand the Japanese. We didn't really understand the Germans. They don't understand us right back. She mentions that, and go to Sned's video for the link. I'm going to be getting rocking and rolling here this morning, getting to work. But she mentions Russian cynicism, like she doesn't believe Americans are idealistic. Or she doesn't believe Russians think that it's all a lie. They think that it's all bullshit. They don't understand that a 22-year-old sailor will jump out of an airplane 15,000 feet in the fucking air just to go down to a little village and kick somebody's ass that's enslaving people and cutting off clitorises, female clitorises, you know? Like they don't believe that there's really such a person, because they see these other results of this invasion of Iraq. They think it's a lie. And then pundits, I think pundits like talking heads over here want us to think that it's a lie too. They don't understand us. I just watched this. I had the most awesome movie marathon with my wife yesterday ever. We watched Darkest Hour, followed by Dunkirk, followed by Midway. It was like watching World War II unfold before our very eyes. And there she was, just putting up with it right next to me. And it was pretty impressive. But in the movie Midway specifically, the Japanese admiral is like, no, Americans aren't that brave. You know? And then by the end of it, they're like, oh my gosh, thank God they didn't have better airplanes. Then we'd really get their asses kicked. Because they got their asses kicked anyway. Dog, I swear, you dig one more hole in this yard. No, sir. He gets all uptight. Anyway, it's like that. So where am I going with all of it? Man. Leadership. You talked about Trump talking about saying the things that people are thinking but don't say out loud. It reminds me when he was originally running in 2016 and that whole locker room talk thing was coming out, like where he was talking about, oh, you just gotta grab the women by the pussy. I remember my wife being like taken aback by that, like, I can't believe he said such a thing. And all I'm thinking of is, wow, I've said much, much worse things than that. If metadata had been collected on me from the time I was a little Southern Paladin, by the time back when I was a foremast jack, not the captain of the Queen Anne's Revenge like I am today, if you were collecting metadata and you were able to cherry pick some of the shit that's come out of my mouth, you want to talk about never running for public office? You wouldn't put me in charge of a daggum, I was going to say an ice cream truck, but even less than that. Everybody would realize how unworthy I am of all of that. Okay, well, great to have most everybody back. And thanks for the response, Backwoods, and hopefully Escape Mental Mike will be inspired by you, because please, everybody, feel free, because I'm going to do likewise. Even though video production seems to be popping out, any subject we want to circle back to, I'm more than happy to. These are all thoughts that are actively rolling around in my head. I'm not so myopic that we're like, no, that was old business, Tully, and you're talking about new business, and we don't discuss new business until next quarter. That's from the Addams Family, by the way. All right, catch you sleazeballs later.